Soul Simmers, and welcome back to a brand new video. Have you ever noticed while you're building in The Sims that your camera keeps jumping up and down when you're trying to rotate to get a good view at what you're building? And also the fact that when you're on the Sims 3 camera, you cannot click and drag, which is also kind of annoying because it's one of the best things from the Sims 4 camera. And yes, Sims 4 camera has a couple of good things. Can you believe it? Also, just in case you're watching this and you're like, what is she talking about? Sims 4 camera, Sims 3 camera? I'll make sure to link a full tutorial in the cards in the description box down below of my Builder's Bootcamp where I actually explain the differences between those two camera modes and what they do. However, in today's video, I would like to very much teach you how to fix these very annoying things with the Sims 3 camera and your camera jumping around in your game when you're trying to build. It requires for you to go into the game files, but fright not, I will walk you through it step by step. The first step is opening your file explorer, or if you're on a Mac, then the most important thing is that you have to know where your game is installed. Just to let you know, I'm going to do this on a Windows PC. However, this is also something you can do on a Mac, but then your game might be installed in a slightly different folder. So just find the place where your game is installed, and then from there you can follow the rest of this tutorial as well. But when you're on your PC, open your file explorer and navigate to your local disk or your C disk, which in most cases is where your game is installed. If you actually installed your game in a different location than the default one, then you have to know where it is. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you in this video. You'll have to find out where that folder is. However, I'll walk you through all of the other folders that you need to know. So as long as you know where your game is on your computer, you should be fine to follow this. You're going to open your C disk and then you're going to go into program files. A lot of the tutorials that I've watched on camera settings and stuff, especially the one about how to use a cinematic camera from James Turner, is made when we were still using Origin. However, with moving to the EA app, your game actually moves from program files x86 to program files. You click here and then you have to navigate to EA Games. So it's no longer within your Origin folder. It is now a separate one called EA Games. And then we have the Sims 4 folder, and that actually opens the folder where your game is installed. You're going to see many folders. Don't worry. I'm just going to walk you through which ones you should open and where you should click. In this folder, you're going to have to go to the game folder. You're going to have to go to bin, and then you're going to have to go to res. I'll make sure to put like the full URL of this place on the screen right now, just in case you're like, hold up, she clicked so fast, where did we end up? I'll make sure to put this link on the screen right now, but I'll also make sure to link it in the description box down below so you don't have to pause the video and like try to find it. You can just copy it from there. Basically, this is the folder where all of your camera settings are stored, and this might sound really scary, but it's basically just a text file, which unironically is my name on the internet, Rosannatxt. I'm a text file, so I think I should be the person to teach you this. Just a little Easter egg in the video. The next step is actually to open the camera settings one. I know that if you're familiar with James Turner's tutorial on how to fix the cinematic camera, you would have to go to the video camera because that's the camera that records in game. However, for this one, we're actually going to go into the camera one, which controls the camera that you see or use when you're playing the game. It then opens this file that has a lot of lines and a lot of settings. But again, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through which ones you should edit and which ones you should definitely not touch. So we're going to start by that thing of what I mentioned, like of your camera jumping around when you're trying to rotate the camera, which can be really annoying, especially if you're trying to work with the terrain tool or if you're building a lot that has multiple levels or like separate buildings. The easiest thing for you to make sure that you don't change any settings that you don't want to change is actually use the search function so that you can only find the one that you actually need to change. So what you're going to do is you're going to press Control F on your keyboard, and it's going to actually bring up this search menu in the text file that will allow you to search for the setting that we're going to change. What you're going to search for is ignore lot level, and then you're going to press enter, and it's going to give you, if all is well, 4 times or like 4 places in this text file where this specific line occurs. As you can see right now, for me, it is actually set to true because I've already adjusted these settings. But if you actually open this text file, it will probably say false. Basically what it means is if you rotate the camera, that the camera should ignore the lot level that you're on. So if you have train tool or if you have a building with multiple stories, your camera, instead of jumping up to actually match the lot level, will actually just go through the building or through the train. Also, if this ever becomes a setting that you've set and then you get annoyed by it because you in gameplay actually want to have the lot level enabled, just go into this file and change it back to false. That's all you have to do. So for me, it is set to true. If you see it, it's probably set to false. That's all you need to do. You need to change it to true. Then use the arrow buttons to navigate through this text file to make sure that you change this 4 times, because that way this will be enabled in all modes of the game. It will be enabled whether you're playing on the Sims 4 camera. It will be enabled whether you're playing on the Sims 3 camera. Doesn't matter if you're building or game playing, it will basically change it for all of it. So let's navigate down. That was the first one that we already changed. That's the second one. As you can see, for me, it is already set to true. That's the third one. It's already set to true. And that's the fourth one. It's also set to true. Please make sure that you set it to true on all 4, because then it will actually work. All you have to do then is press Ctrl S to actually save the file, and you can close the text file and you can start up your game. Fun fact is you can actually adjust these settings while you have your game open. So if you're building and you then want to hop back into gameplay and you realize that you don't want it turned on, just open this file, change it to false, and you can literally continue playing and the camera settings will be adjusted. Because the game is reading from this file real time, so as long as you open it and save it, it will adjust while you're playing, which is fantastic because it's unlike any other like modifications that you do to your game with CC or mods, where you constantly have to restart your game, which can be really annoying. So this is pretty great for you to just quickly adjust it when you're building and you want to have this enabled. Then we're gonna hop on to the next part, which is actually enabling click and drag on the Sims 3 camera. I do want to preface this by saying that when you're on the Sims 4 camera and you click and drag, but you actually have you click and drag over a room, it won't select the room. So you can just continue playing, nothing happens. However, with the Sims 3 camera, I have not been able to find the setting to enable the fact that the room selects. So whenever you're on the Sims 3 camera and you have this enabled and you click in a room and you drag, then the room will be selected. So as soon as you use any other keyboard shortcuts, it will rotate the room, which can be slightly annoying. You can definitely get used to it. I got used to it really quickly, so it's not a biggie, but just keep it in mind that this might be something that you have to adjust to a little bit. When we look at the text file, there are a couple of kind of headers, so to say. One is the simple one, which I big brained because it's not very clear that means it's the Sims 4 camera. The Sims 4 camera is referred to as the simple camera in the game settings. And then when you scroll down and you actually see, let me see, there's so many. We have the advanced one, and that is the Sims 3 camera. So the Sims 3 camera has many more settings than the Sims 4 camera, naturally, because it's the more advanced camera. But something that I noticed is that under the Sims 4 camera, it actually said click drag enabled is true. And that made me wonder, can I change that for the Sims 3 camera too? I was a little bit cheeky, so I just scrolled down to the advanced settings and I found a similar setting called click drag enable, and it was actually set to false, and I just changed it to true. And it worked. Now in my game, I am able to click and drag on the Sims 3 camera. Again, it does have the downside of selecting the room. If any of you geniuses knows how to change that in the settings, if you are familiar with the Sims settings and you know how to actually change it that it doesn't select a room anymore, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, because I would absolutely love to adjust that. I'll make sure if anyone comments and it is the right thing, I'll make sure to make it a pinned comment on this video so everyone watching it will know. But honestly, this for me was such a game changer in building, because I am a person who uses the Sims 4 and the Sims 3 camera at the same time, because I want to have all of the upsides of the Sims 3 camera of being able to kind of change the angle of which you're looking at the build. I would like to be able to freely rotate objects, all of those things. However, I want to be able to click and drag. That's the one thing I miss in the Sims 3 camera. And now I could do it. So that was such a huge game changer for me. So all you have to do is you have to navigate to the advanced setting. You have to change this value from false to true. And then again, you save it. If you don't like it anymore, just change it back to false and your game settings are actually reset. If you ever get to a point where you're like, I changed all of this, I don't remember how to redo it, I'm getting stressed, I want my old settings back. Don't worry, just repair your game. Literally go into your EA app and click repair game, and it will basically go back to the default settings of the game. So it will completely change this back to the defaults without you having to worry about changing it back. Also good to know is You can't really break anything as long as you just change it from true to false. Please don't start experimenting with adding other values in there, and if you do, that's completely at your own risk, but as long as you just change it from true to false or back, you should be fine and you're not breaking your game. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these you will actually be trying out and if it was helpful. Also, let me know if you know any more cool settings for the Sims camera through this file, because as always, I'm a person that likes to tweak my game, so it perfectly matches how I like to play. So anything that I can learn from this is super, super welcome. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, please toss it a cheeky like, because it does really help the video get to more people. And obviously, we want more people to know about these settings for the Sims 4 camera. And also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I do a bunch of tutorials, let's plays, speed builds, basically anything Sims, you'll find it on my channel. So feel free to check it out. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And with all of that being said, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.